life-changing program that's opened doors for so many people of color.
EOP is everything. It's so many different parts of who I am today. It's a program that's changed my life and that has changed so many other lives out there.
EOP is imperative for the success of students who would not be able to come to this campus if it were not for that program.
EOP is a foundation, empowerment, community, family.
EOP is a place for many disengaged African American and Hispanic Latino students to find their real place on a campus like Northridge, where history says that you may not belong. EOP is a place that says you do belong.
Fall of 1967, San Fernando Valley State had a student population of 18,000 students. The black student population was 23.
As we started to talk and look at our, you might say, our situation, at that time, the only thing we really had was a meeting place in the cafeteria, not only to eat, but to talk and to plan and to strategize as to what we could do to improve our visibility and improve, attracting our youth from our communities. And at the same time, this was going on other campuses in the Los Angeles area. Student movement was starting to build up with these little local chapters.
When it came to the point that they said, well, we only have 15 Latinos on the whole campus, a dozen blacks on the whole campus, we're going to try to recruit minorities. Stan, I'd like you to be the first EOP director, and because the students get along well with you, and you understand them. I mean, I have a good relationship with the students.
It was a part of the statewide affirmative action program, was the EOP, Educational Opportunities Program. We brought in 150 students. We felt that number was underrepresented. We got together and demanded that they increase the number of black students coming in through EOP from 150 to 500.
We also had to do something about this institution in terms of having curriculum and classes that related to their experience and to the history of their families, and so this started to generate the ideas of eventually the Chicano Studies program.
Then we fought the academic battle of getting black studies recognized as a degree granting department.
The demand for what eventually became EOP was a standard kind of like demand. The demands were both for ethnic studies as well as more equitable admissions policies. So on the CSUN campus, it culminated pretty much in students occupying what's now called Baramian Hall. That was at that particular time the administration building, which also then was coordinated with different kinds of student protests.
that it's not the EOP program, it's our EOP program. It's our opportunity. Because as long as blacks are being denied opportunities, there will always be a need for that.
Well, EOP in many ways is the CSU's ability to ensure that it serves all people by ensuring that higher education is accessible and affordable. There is not a program that I know of that has been enduring over the length of time of EOP and has been as transformative as EOP has when one thinks about the students who it admits and the students that it helps to grow and mature to successful completion of college and onto careers. And so EOP will continue to be one of the programs that best reflects the heart and soul of the CSU system.
I think one of the most successful things that we've developed through EOP is the mentoring concept. With the innovation of Jose Luis Vargas, with professors like Gordon Nakagawa and of course Glenn Omatsu, they've taken that concept and made, instead of having one mentor assigned to one student, we have what they develop a community of mentors.
Jose Luis pretty much wanted me to experiment with a different kind of like model for mentoring that he himself had experienced when he was a student. So that became more like having every interaction with students as a mentoring opportunity. We called it mentoring on the run. So rather than having students sign up for a formal mentoring program, we brought mentoring to students without them realizing it. We trained every single person working in EOP, from faculty members to student assistants, in the art of mentoring on the run.
Jose Luis Vargas is a very special person for me. He impacted my life in so many different ways. He actually is kind of like challenged me to think about what I wanted to do after Northridge. Really challenged me to think about that I was a mentor for 5 years, and he really encouraged me to think about, hey, you work really well with like students. Why don't you think about teaching? Why don't you think about, we're opening up a new position called the math mentor position. Why don't you try that? I needed any advice or just needed some guidance. Jose Luis was that person for me.
He was dedicated to making sure that we achieve our goals and that we have the support to be successful. I really admired him. I had him as a mentor, I had him as a supervisor, but most important, I had him as a friend.
Now I have this profound love and appreciation for his vision, and I'm so grateful that he allowed me to be a part of it all these years.
I think every student who had the great opportunity to be mentored by him or touched by him in some way always left that interaction knowing that they had someone truly in their corner, someone willing to stand up for them and to ensure their well-being. And so he'll always be remembered on our campus.
It's important to not lose sight of where we've been, where we come from, and not lose sight of all the work that still needs to be done. And we see that every summer. We see it in the films we show, conversations that we have, but we see it every day around us. We see that the world today, in a lot of respects, isn't much different than it was in the 1950s or before, you know?
The program continues to be important because it gives those students that would not otherwise have an opportunity to realize their career dreams and realize any goals that they have. It's important when people believe in you. It's important that people be willing to take a risk and say, hey, you know what, I think that you can do this, and we're going to do everything we can to help you.
And I think it's still important for us to continue talking about it, to continue reaching our communities, providing hope to our students. Yes, it was done 50 years ago, and it has been done for the past 50 years, but I think there's still a lot of students, a lot of families that haven't heard about college, and I think it's important for them to understand that there is an opportunity, there is help, if individuals like myself made it, they could also make it.
So EOP is my second home because it doesn't matter the struggles, my background, or where I am from, I know that they will always be there to support me.
EOP is community to me. It gave me a place where I felt like I belonged, I could be myself. It's something I felt like I never had growing up. My closest friends, they're in EOP. I'm close to like people I've only known for a couple of years and people I've known my entire life.
If it wasn't for CSUN EOP, I'd probably be back home doing something negative, something that would make me be stuck, and it wouldn't give me the chance to be able to come home and see my mother being proud of me, which is something that I never gave her a reason to be. So if it wasn't for CSUN EOP, it's given me the opportunity to make my mother proud.